Today we're at London Heathrow, flying the Latams Boeing 777-300 to Sao Paulo. And let me tell you, I was genuinely surprised. We'll explain why they're giving British Airways, who also operate the route with an A350, a run for their money. After catching the Heathrow Express, we find ourselves in the home of Virgin Atlantic, Terminal 3, to catch Latam's Boeing 777 at 21:25, departing for Sao Paulo, Brazil. Over at Terminal 5, SkyTeam's rival, British Airways, departs at 22:20. Both flights arrive early in the morning, with Latam's at a less friendly 5 AM. One day, I will grace the Virgin Atlantic check-in desks with my presence, as it's such an impressive and check-in experience. Probably the purple lighting. Latam, though, can be found around the corner, plus a 3-minute walk at a not-so-impressive counter.
So each airline basically has like its own letter for which section you check in at. Virgin and Delta are really obvious, but if you're looking for Latam, you need to head to the E section.
As I explained in a moment, the experience was straightforward, but I had a bit of a nightmare with the booking over the last 24 hours.
So totally not Latam's fault at all, but for some reason there was duplicate bookings for the return leg from Belo Horizonte to Sao Paulo, and that was making it a duplicate booking, and it was so complicated. It took about 10 minutes, but in fairness, she was really nice about it. I'm just so pleased to have my boarding cards. So because I'm travelling business class, I get to use the fast track, and that means it's so easy. I was free in about 5 minutes.
Both Terminals 3 and 5 aim at the higher end shops. It really would be nice to see more everyday retailers with less premium price tags.
It was unfortunate because I'm not travelling with a one-more carrier today. I'm having to use a specific lounge, and ironically, when travelling with Latam, using the British Airways business class lounge, I know.
Don't let the hospital looking corridor fool you. I was a bit gutted not to be able to use the Cathay Pacific or Qantas lounge, they're just incredible. But I was about to be surprised by how nice the British Airways business class lounge was, having avoided it for 8 years. The lounge is long, starting with a sweeping curve before you reach the buffet. The food is really good, it's tasty, but you probably won't remember it in a week's time. You only have to wander down the hall to Qantas or Qatar's lounge, and you will have forgotten about this very British pub food in a heartbeat. It doesn't matter whether you visit Terminal 3 or Terminal 5. British Airways is usually well stocked with drinks and alcohol, and I'm also a big fan of their cake.
So I thought the showers at Heathrow were so-so. This just looks old.
Don't get me wrong, I know it's an absolute privilege to shower in an airport, but there are some really nice ones out there.
So the lounge is not bad. It seems to have a refurbishment, which is quite nice, and it looks a bit like the outer station, so the ones in Europe. The showers just could do with an update. Now it's off to Gate 34, which apparently is really far. While we're having a walk, why don't we have a look at today's journey?
The flight time in either direction from London to Sao Paulo is approximately 11 hours and 35 minutes, covering a distance of 5,907 miles. Latam's boarding process can only be described as chaotic. Nobody knew where to stand at the boarding gate on the flight to and from Sao Paulo. It would have been good if they put out the boarding group's locations before the boarding time, which came and went. Eventually, someone from the Latam team began organising the queues, and we began boarding 5 minutes late. This is sadly the best shot of the Boeing 777-300 I could get.
So what's amusing, but at least to me, was that this is the same gate I used to use them for American, which was like our first proper review.
Hiya, bom dia.
Sorry, my Portuguese is poor.
Yes, okay.
Welcome aboard Latam's Boeing 777-300.
In a two-class configuration with business and economy. The first 5 rows of economy though are Latam Plus and gain extra seat pitch. The business class is laid out in a 1-2-1 configuration, while economy is 3-4-3. And not all seats are created equal. This is my bulkhead seat next to the window 8A. Some seats are less private. If you're travelling solo, being close to the aisle again is not recommended. And with the middle seats, some are further apart than others. There is a privacy divider though if you don't know the person you're sitting next to. And on the return journey, I was extremely lucky due to the booking error to get 10F. And what about the seat on British Airways Airbus A350? British Airways has been rolling out the Club Suite product, complete with sliding door, over the last few years. It's very corporate in design, but comfortable. Every seat is the same, with the only differences being the window alignment and whether you want to be in the middle or the window. You'll have to stick around to the end to see which hard product and service we preferred. On British Airways, they offer you a glass of champagne, water or orange juice, which is the same on Latam, but I've also been given a tasty bowl of cold mixed nuts. Perhaps a bit unfair, but the point goes to Latam purely for having the nuts and this beautiful but fake marble side table. While we prepare to push back, another win for Latam. I loved the old British Airways safety video with Joanna Lumley. It had a Mr Bean-esque comedy everyone could relate to. The new one seems to have been plugged with celebrities here, there and everywhere, while Latam's is clearly referenced to the culture and destinations it serves. I've skipped the takeoff because it's night time and my phone isn't great at this. Upgrade on the way.
Let's have a quick seat tour and have a look around.
Firstly, we have to discuss this beautiful side table. Much like Qatar, it's the little things that count. As for the seat, it's really comfortable and in flat mode because it's not angled I didn't feel restricted. Something unfortunately which BA couldn't escape. Privacy wise, BA steps up here, and with a solid wall on the door, even if it's open, I don't feel watched. Latam on the other hand is still pretty good, so long as you get a window adjacent seat. I still felt pretty private, particularly in flat mode. Both flights provide a bottle of water, a menu and an amenity kit, but Latam's amenity kit is so much prettier than the black leather on BA. Here's a copy of both menus side by side. 1 hour into Latam's flight and the full meal has been served. I've gone for the beef tenderloin which comes with aubergine and rice. It was really well cooked, which is often quite difficult for beef. And on the side is the starter, which is ham and feta cheese with a beautiful cream sauce. And a cookies and cream ice cream for dessert. Just note that the menu provided is just an example, but the starter on the way back from Sao Paulo was better purely because it felt more luxurious on British Airways. Both main courses were absolutely delicious. It's worth noting that the crew on the British Airways flight weren't getting along with the layout on the A350, and as a result my meal service took nearly 3 hours. Some passengers took even longer, and when Brent's meal did appear it wasn't what he had ordered. And when my tea did appear, it was cold. Time for a quick bathroom break, which understandably is nicer on the Airbus A350, but that's because they're only a few years old. Both were exceptionally clean and very well kept. The legroom on both flights is really good, but it could be an issue if you're over 6 foot. As for the in-flight entertainment, both provided good quality headsets, but BA's feels a little bit more premium. As for the screen, both were really similar size, high definition, and really easy to work. The content was vast and both provided an extensive range of both current, new, and classic movies, and a wide range of TV shows. I had no shortage of things to choose from. This could be a deal breaker and a win for British Airways, because for the small majority that want it, there's no Wi-Fi on Latam. As for the bedding, it's British Airways that wins here, because the large and well stuffed pillow. Latam's just felt like it was missing some padding, and the duvet was really warm and comfortable on both, but the presentation was neither here nor there. But the white coming on British Airways probably looks a little bit more stylish. I slept really well on both flights, but noticed that my throat was drier on the 777. Airlines have made huge improvements to the humidity inside the plane over the years to help passengers sleep better. In fact, you might be shocked to know that the air inside the plane can be as dry as the Sahara Desert. As for breakfast, I'm getting really bored of English breakfast, so opted for the fruit platter on British Airways, which was really fresh and tasty with a granola yoghurt and a pastry. Again a win for BA, because Latam's breakfast I felt was a little bit uninspired. Not that it wasn't tasty, but this is what I had arriving into Sao Paulo. And on the way back had a delicious but perhaps a little bit boring ham and cheese toasted sandwich. I will say that the Latam crew can only be described as joyful. On all 4 flights I had with them, they introduced themselves and each conversation felt joyful and happy. British Airways isn't bad, but it seems a bit of the luck of the draw. I was in fact overjoyed in British Airways not to have the person handing out the hot towels, because it felt like she really didn't want to be there. The cabin crew serving the meal though was 5-star. Just a quick word on Latam's lounge at Sao Paulo. The first thing is, it's very vast, and there has to be over 400, possibly even more, seats in there. There's even a proper sleeping room, huge TV for sports, being obviously a football country, a nice selection of buffet and hot food, and you can even get a caipirinha, which is the national alcoholic beverage. And the good news is that British Airways has an agreement with Latam, so whichever airline you're flying, you still get to access the same lounge. And now it's back to today's flight for the landing and the conclusion. I've borrowed the footage for the landing to Sao Paulo from my flight from Belo Horizonte, as it was complete darkness arriving to Sao Paulo at 5 AM. Credit due if you can work out what plane it was. Let us know in the comments below. Let's tally up the wins and see which airline won. In terms of the hard product, it's well matched, but Latam's seat is more comfortable and less corporate. In terms of the soft product, BA wins here because the pillow is so much more plump and luxurious. In terms of entertainment, both airlines delivered a good sized screen and lots of content, and the food was pretty equal again, although the cheese and ham toasty lost a few points for Latam because it's delicious but not very creative. And finally, service wise, BA just was a bit hit and miss, and every member of Latam's crew were really welcoming, friendly and smiley. Brazilians have a lot of joy that just seems to make them constantly ignited with happiness, so Latam wins here again. But that also makes them our overall winners. Yeah!